Hello and welcome to African Dream TV. My name is Nanayao, and this channel is a place where we try and provide information for people who are looking to make the move from Western countries to Ghana or other places in Africa. Today, I have the pleasure of having a guest here who has just landed in Ghana, all of 2 days now. So I'd like to hear what his impressions are, but before I get into the questions, I'm going to let him introduce himself, tell you a little bit about himself, and then we'll take it from there.
Yeah, so I'm Kurtley, and I've come to Ghana from the United Kingdom, and I'm going to be here for 3 months to see how it is to live in Africa, and also to see whether there are any potential business opportunities that can change my life and help me with my move in the near to long term future.
Cool. So, Kurtley is here for about 2.5 months. Is that right?
Yeah.
And my first question, I guess, is you've just landed, so you have some initial impressions. You haven't been here for a while, but I'd love to hear what your initial impressions are, the good, the bad, but you can start whichever, just any impressions you have, like landing in Ghana.
Broadly, very, very good impressions. So people are very friendly. So while I was at the airport, people offering to help me, show me around, offering to possibly find me a wife if I needed some love in my life. But yeah, I think the only funny situation I've been in was the experiencing the Ghanaian way of queuing. So a lovely auntie decided to cut the queue in front of me. I looked at her and told her that, the queue starts behind me. She looked back and shook her head and continued to cut in front. But beyond that, everyone was friendly and it's all laughs.
Okay, well, that's good. Well, yeah, I'm not surprised with that. Um, yeah, so you've arrived. Courtly stayed in a hotel, I think, the first night. You know, way ahead of what I was at this point. You already found yourself place to stay. So could you explain to us what your process was, how you found it, and any interesting things that happened during your stay?
So the process was to look online. So I began searching beforehand while I was in the United Kingdom. So I used Google and I found a website called Mikasa, but there are plenty of other available ways to find properties. And I searched for properties that were in sort of centralish areas. And as I'm traveling on my own, I wanted a property that was a complex, so there were other people around, so I wasn't going to be in a secluded area and I can see people around. I chose a complex that has amenities such as a swimming pool, a gym,
Nice.
and 24/7 security, so no one wants to kidnap me. The process was easy. Agents got involved to try and find properties for me. However, I went directly to the vendor because I wasn't keen on paying the 10% charge.
Yeah, I think you did the right thing.
Yeah. One problem I did come across was the fact that coming from the United Kingdom, we're used to paying for rent on a monthly basis, whereas here I had to pay
Yeah.
for 3 months plus a deposit, so 4 months up front, which equated to about 3,000 US dollars. And they obviously wanted that in cash. And coming from the West, we don't walk around with suitcases full of cash.
No, you don't.
So there was a bit of a workaround to use online payments. So I used a PayPal solution to pay, though that was after bending his arm because he would have preferred cash. But other than that, I finally settled in and found somewhere nice to live.
Cool. Yeah, cash is key, especially in Ghana. There are other ways to make payments, like mobile money, and you can do bank transfers. You know, online banking is a thing. But you'll find there's still quite a lot of people who prefer to keep it cash based, for whatever reason. They just feel more comfortable. So yeah, somebody can buy a house cash here. There isn't that much credit in the system, so it's not unusual for someone to rock up to buy a new car and have a bag full of cash to pay for it. So yeah, welcome to Ghana on that front. I'd also like to add, you're doing the right thing that I think it might be because you're coming here for an extended period of time. A lot of people will come for 2 weeks, and I know if you're working for a company, it's hard to get longer than that. I understand that, but I feel like 2 weeks really isn't enough time to achieve what you want to achieve and to get a proper feel for what it's like to live here, day to day, work here. Basically what your routine would be like if you were here. So by staying as long as you are, I feel like you're already ahead of the game. You're going to get a very useful experience that you can use to kind of gauge whether this is the right move for you or not. Okay. So I guess my question now is, I get it. You wanted to make the move. You've taken the first step, but why now? What's the motivation?
Well, for me, it was this is a COVID time, so it's obviously a sad time and it's worked out badly for some people and families. But the slight upside in terms of me personally was the ability to work from home. So I have an office job in the city, and I'm able to work from home up until next year. So I thought that I might as well work from home abroad and still sort of maintain my commitments, but live hopefully as close to an African as possible in Africa. So I took that opportunity. The motivation for taking the opportunity was effectively wanting to move to a society where being black is no longer an issue or a point of conversation. So from the West, in light of the Black Lives Matter movement, in light of notions of diversity in the workplace and the progression and the push and pull in society for ethnic minorities, I think I wanted to move away from that and live in a society where that is no longer an issue. And a black man in Ghana or in Africa, as far as I understood, and I hope which will be true, is I'm one of many, so it's not no longer a problem. So that's why I wanted to move here and be in a society where I'm no longer a minority.
Yeah, and I'd say that was equally a pull for me. And having been here for over a year now, I find that I go ages without actually really thinking about race in general. I know back in the UK, you can't help but have it at the back of your mind the way you want to behave in certain situations. But here, a lot of the times it's just me and I am. That's it. When I'm dealing with people, if anything, the fact that I have lived in the UK does buy me a little bit of credit. I find dealing with people. Like you had that situation, but I'll let you tell people how somebody knowing that you came from the UK kind of helped you achieve something. Right?
So I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. However, when taking on the flats, the landlord wanted the cash up front, as I said, and he was more comfortable with cash payments. However, I offered a solution to pay via a PayPal solution using online banking to deposit directly into his bank account. However, he was apprehensive because he has never really used online banking. He has a distrust for it, and he did advise me that with fellow Africans and some Nigerians specifically have made some people uncomfortable with online transactions. But the fact that I suppose I'm British and have a British accent provided him with some comfort to be able to go beyond himself and try this solution.
Yeah. So when I heard that, I found it quite interesting that that actually bought you a level of trust with this person. And I'm sure if you weren't, he probably would have demanded that, well, come back when you've got the cash because I'm not willing to deal. So, yeah, so there's two sides to it, but in a way, and whether it's good or bad, I don't know, but in life, you make use of whatever resources you have available to you. So, if in this situation, the very fact that you were coming from the UK and were obviously from the UK helped you. It is what it is. So yeah, that's one thing. Either way, like you said, race. I don't think you're going to be negatively thinking about interactions with people or are they acting this way because I'm this way. Yeah, that so it tends to be something I don't think about as much as I used to, and I feel like that's another plus for me being here. Yeah. Okay, so moving on from there, I know I've kind of had a chat with you already about some of the positives that I've had and the negatives. So I'm gonna look forward to talking to you maybe a couple of weeks from now to see after you've been here more than 2 days how you're feeling about that. In the meantime, I'm just gonna say, so you're in Ghana now. Obviously, you've got goals, and for me, everyone has their ideal, their dream, if you will, or their version of their African dream that they want to live. You tell me a little bit about, if things go really well for you, how you would picture your life here, or in a way, you can say, what would happen for you to be absolutely 100% sure that moving to Ghana is the right decision for you.
Well, I suppose the only thing that would really, really deter me would be anything which challenges my safety, which would then sort of impact my comfort in terms of, having a family here. But beyond that, I'm pretty much sold beforehand. I know people talk about amenities being an issue or not having the services, but I feel like ultimately Africa is home for me. I'm of Caribbean descent. However, life began in Africa, as they say, and black people came from Africa. So I use that as the benchmark. So I can easily pivot around maybe bad phone reception or, water sometimes cutting off, electricity cutting off, because that can always be improved. So I'm more interested in the fact that it's a society that supports black people and I'm no longer a minority. In terms of the grand vision, I hope to prosper and be in the middle class and upper class bracket. I'll be pragmatic. I know that there are some income inequalities, and I wouldn't necessarily give up the comforts from the UK to live badly in Africa. But I do want to come here and make it work and live well, and if possible, have passive income so I don't need to work.
No, I think that's a fair. I mean, you mentioned passive income. I love passive income personally. So yeah, we're all trying to get to that stage where you've got more freedom in what you do and how you spend your time. So yeah, I really hope. I like your attitude actually because you've got an idea of what it will take to stop you. You've got an idea of some of the difficulties you might encounter or the inconvenience. To be honest, to me, a lot of them are more inconveniences than difficulties, probably because I've been forewarned. And in most cases, I found ways to mitigate any of these inconveniences, like with the power and water, get a generator, make sure you've got a water tank, stuff like that, get a borehole. There's precautions you can take. So yeah, I really like that. Is there anything, I mean, it's early for me to ask this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. You've arrived. Is there anything you would have liked to know before you'd arrived that maybe now you feel might have made your first few days a little bit easier?
I think you can never really prepare for 100% of everything. I think the apartment situation with the requiring cash to make the the purchase. Maybe if I knew before, I could have done something about it. But would I have been comfortable to carry that much cash in my suitcase to pay cash for the apartment? Maybe, maybe not. So I think my general advice would be to be flexible and be able to pivot. Because if you come with the mindset it needs to be structured like the West, it needs to be this, it needs to be that, there needs to be this order, it needs to run at this process, then all you're going to do is see problems and all you're going to do is frustrate yourself. But you just need to be flexible, learn the new culture, learn the new rules of the roads, and adapt.
I love your attitude, and I feel like you got the right mindset to do well. I mean, I've already been talking to you about some of your business ideas, investments. Potentially mentioned potentially having investments that maybe Ghanaians could invest in you, and you could arrange something that generates returns from the UK. So I've also noticed as well when I was talking to you, looking at ways to manage risk and set up processes. So I love that, and I really wish you all the best. I hope when I speak to you next, you've got some serious good news and you're making progress. But yeah, welcome to Ghana, and I hope when we have our chat, you're still as positive. Yeah, we already discussed some of the negative things. I already told you kind of watch out. You have to be careful who you trust. Anything you do, due diligence, get a second opinion if you're not sure, give me a call. Other than that, yeah, enjoy the atmosphere, enjoy the food, and just, yeah, welcome. Just all the best. So thanks for taking the time to speak to me. Is there anything you'd like to add?
Just take the risk if you have the ability to do it, because I feel like if we look from maybe the Caribbean perspective, our families in the Windrush came to the West, came to the United Kingdom, underwent racism, underwent all sorts of challenges, and had no idea about what the UK had to offer them because effectively they came from very, very rural areas in the Caribbean. So, they took that bravery upon themselves to go to a country where they're a minority. Why should we be scared to go to a country where we will be part of the majority?
Actually, I've never actually thought of it that way. But yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So yeah, so you've heard it here. If you know anybody who can benefit from hearing some of these words of wisdom or just shared experiences, please share the video, like the video, subscribe. I feel like the bigger the community we can generate, the more useful this channel can be as a resource. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope you're looking forward as much as I am to speaking to this gentleman in a couple of weeks. Take care. Thanks for watching.